Hey guys, Soda here back again doing another movie review, and today we'll be reviewing Venom Let There Be Carnage. Now, Venom Let There Be Carnage is directed by Andy Serkis and features Tom Hardy, Woody Harrelson, Stephen Graham, Michelle Williams, Naomi Harris, who else? Peggy Lou, and Ray Scott. So the plot to So the plot to Venom Let There Be Carnage. Okay, I'm gonna get into the plot without saying any spoilers, okay? So the plot of this movie is that we follow and this movie takes place like right after the first Venom, like literally right after, and we follow with Eddie Brock and Venom, who have just been living in the apartment. Like they've just been living in the apartments, being best friends, and Venom's always eating chocolate and chickens, and Eddie would never let him. Eddie never lets him eat people, but Venom like really wants to though. Like Venom's like keeps begging him, and even gets mad at him for it. So yeah, Venom and Eddie are like having this hard life right now. Like they're having this hard life, and then we follow with Cletus Cassidy, which Cletus Cassidy is the villain to this movie, aka Carnage. But Cletus Cassidy, he is a serial killer, and he's in jail. He's been in jail because of Eddie. Eddie is the one that put him there, and Cletus Cassidy, he's always been a psychopath, and he's always like stayed in asylums. He's been in and out of prison a lot, and he's never been loved by anybody. And yeah, but the only person that loves him was his girlfriend that he grew up with. He always lived in he always grew up in this asylum, but everyone would always pick on him. But the only one that liked him was his girl named Frances, I think. Yeah, her name was Frances, and so they end up falling in love, and that's the only person that Cletus like is really attached to. And so he really hates Eddie for putting him there. And then Eddie decides to, cause like he sees that Cletus is too crazy, like he's way too crazy, and Cletus is always in his head. So he wants the prison people, like the prison, to sentence him to death in the electric chair. And so Cletus is really like scared about that. But before they put him in the electric chair, Eddie goes and visits him. He goes and visits him, and then once he does, Cletus bites him, and then that puts Eddie's blood inside him, and then he swallows his blood, and then he goes into the once they put him in the electric chair, they electrocute him, but Eddie's blood was still in him, and then that makes it get stronger, and then that turns him into Carnage. And so he ends up breaking out of the prison, and then what he wants to do is he wants to reunite with his girl again, and to try to kill Eddie Brock. But Eddie is now being aware of this, and he's really scared, so he's trying really hard to protect himself. But that's basically the whole plot, is Cletus trying to kill Eddie. So did I like this movie? Yeah, I like this movie. This was a good movie. I mean, it was better than the first one, but I would say it still has the same emotion as the first one, but it was better though. Like it had the same feel, the same pace. It just kind of felt like it felt a lot like the first one, but it was different. But I don't know, like it just felt like the same direction actually. So. I still liked it better than the first one, but I still feel like a bit of the same way. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would give this a slightly better grade than I did of the first Venom, but yeah, this was still a good movie. I mean, I like there was a lot of stuff that I liked in this movie, and I thought the characters were upgraded a lot more in this movie than the first one, such as Venom and Eddie. I thought, once again, Venom and Eddie are the best parts of this movie. And Venom and Eddie's friendship is just so funny, and their friendship is just so good. And it's just so cute seeing this friendship, seeing them argue all the time. It's just so funny. Like, and there's so many funny scenes involving them, and how there's this whole plot line, or I mean, it's not really a plot line. It's just this funny thing where Venom eats chickens, but he doesn't eat these two chickens because he thinks they're his best friends. And then even Eddie and then even Eddie gets along with them too. So yeah, just all those parts are really funny, and the fact that Venom even wants to eat people, but Eddie's always like, no, we don't eat people. And there's even this part where Venom stops a bad guy from stealing a girl's purse, but Eddie keeps telling him, no, don't eat him, don't eat him. But he's like putting him in his mouth, and he's like, don't eat him, and he's like, fine, and he throws him to the trash. Yeah, just all like stuff like that was just super touching. So yeah. Let me see. And then they even get in a huge fight in this movie too, which I really thought was I really thought like the fight was actually really was a little heartbreaking actually, how they went in a fight, and Venom even like had to run away from Eddie. Like he was too mad at him. He was like I can't be with him anymore. Yeah, just that whole storyline was just, I thought that whole storyline had a lot of emotion to it. And then we get on to Cletus Cassidy, the main villain of the movie. I would say he was cool actually. I mean, Cletus Cassidy was cool, but Carnage, he was okay. I mean, Carnage could have been better. I mean, he was cool for all the scenes he was in action. Like all the scenes where he was slicing and dicing and killing all these people was awesome. Like all those scenes were fucking awesome. But the main problem is Carnage should have had a better motivation. Like he could have had a way better plan, a way better storyline, but he just comes off as like a sort of like predictable presence. Yeah. But so yeah, just Venom, he could have been a lot better, but all the scene but like I said, all the scenes where he's literally like he's literally like really big, and he's even like he's taking all these tentacles out of him and like killing all these people, like killing left and right. All those scenes were really cool. But mostly I like Cletus Cassidy because he was a really good character. How he was just this crazy deformed man, and he was crazy his whole life, and his backstory. I'm not gonna give away his backstory, but I'm just gonna say he had a really dark backstory, and I really felt for him a lot. What else was I gonna say? And then yeah, you can just a flaw I have with this movie, the number one flaw I have with this movie is Carnage, Cletus, and Francis's relationship kind of feels forced in there. Actually, like it just feels really like tacked on in there. Like it did not really need to be there, I would say. And you could have easily made this movie without Shriek. Like you could have easily took Shriek out of this movie, and this movie would have been better. Actually, like this movie would have been better without Shriek. Like if it was just Carnage, that would have been a lot cooler. But like they just put in this forced love romance thing, and then they put this forced wedding, and it's like, what? Like how do we already get to a wedding? Yeah, and just there wasn't really much emotion to them. The only emotion was their story, how that was the only person that Cletus ever felt attached to. That was the only thing that felt emotional, but just every scene involving them, you just don't really feel for them. And that was my number one flaw with this movie. And then, but Cletus, I really liked the way Cletus was acting. Like he was kind of like this jolly, crazy person. And then when he gets the Carnage symbiote, like he feels like really strong, and he's like, yeah, I got all this power. Any last words? Yeah, I just love that whole thing with Cletus. And then I love this part where Cletus steals a car. He steals this red car, and he's like, hello, baby. And he just gets on it like if it's his. And then he drives away with it. And then, oh yes, there's this one really, really cool scene where when he first turns into Carnage, he's killing every security guard in the prison. And he's literally like destroying everything. He's even destroying the prison bars, like just one little pull from them, he already destroys them. And then he even makes a tornado too, and he eats the warden. So yeah, that whole scene was fucking awesome. Let me think. Is there anything else I should say about Cletus? Let me think. Anything else? Is there anything else I should say about Cletus? Oh yeah, and his relationship with Eddie I thought was really cool too. Like that was really cool too. Like his whole love-hate relationship with Eddie, and how he's always wanted to kill him, and he's always hated him, he feels like this is his only friend though. Like this is the only person that he like besides from Francis, but besides from her, like he feels like that's like kind of a friend to him. And I really like that whole storyline with him. Let me think. Anything else I just say about Cletus? Let me think. Yeah, that's it about Cletus. But I would say they did an excellent job with Cletus. But Carnage, like I said, they could have done better with Carnage. But okay, so now let's get on to this the other characters. Now we got this other character. I forgot his name, but he's played by Stephen Graham, and he's a detective. I mean, he was okay. I mean, he was like, he's supposed to be a new character, but I didn't really give a fuck about him. Like, I didn't give a fuck about anything that was happening to him, and like the reason he was there. Like, the reason this new character is there is because when he was younger, when Shriek was just a teenager, like he shot her, and so Shriek has always wanted to get revenge on him. And then like yeah, and actually the detective kind of feels forced there, and even in the M battle, like he has his own thing too, where him and Shriek are fighting. And it's just like, okay, can we just get back to Venom and Carnage fighting now, and stop, and let's not be with this boring shit. So yeah, he was another force character in this movie. So yeah, you could have done this movie without him too. So yeah, he wasn't a good character. And then we get on to Anne. Venom's crush, Venom's ex. I thought she was a lot better in this movie than in the first one. Like she was in it a lot more than in the first one, and I thought she was really cool in this movie. Like she really knew Ed, like what's inside Eddie. Like there's this one part, like there's this whole like storyline where she is now engaged to Dan and not Eddie. Like he sees the ring and he's like, wow, it's a lot better than the one I gave you. And then he gets so sad there, but he's telling her like congratulations, but she can already tell that he's lying and that he feels really sad and he wants to cry. So yeah, and then she even knows that Venom is still with him because she thought Venom died in the first one, and she's like, tell me the truth, is Venom with you right now? Yeah, and just yeah, she really knew like how to get under Eddie and Venom's skin. Like she knew their motivation, and she knew how to get inside their head, and I thought that was really cool. She especially knew how to get into Venom's head. And then she even I think I'm saying too much now. Shit. If you guys are familiar with my YouTube channel, you guys may know that I suck ass with not spoiling shit. But I'm just gonna say this. There was a certain thing that happened in the first one with Anne. This really cool thing that happened with her. You guys may already know what I'm talking about, but I'm just gonna say it happens again. Like it happens again, and it's even more cooler. Let me think. Anything else I should say about Anne? So yeah, and I thought she was really funny in this movie too. So yeah, Anne was a cool character. And then let me think. And then she has a huge role in the end too. I'm not gonna say what happens, but I'm just gonna say she has a huge role at the end. Any other characters I should say? I mean, Frances, the Shriek. She was, like I said, you could have done this movie without her, but for most of the scenes she was in, she was okay. I mean, her scream powers were okay, but what I didn't get was like whenever she shrieked, like she was destroying Venom and Carnage, and then Cletus had to go through that. Like Cletus like has to go through all of that, and like why do you even have a girl that like, why did you put this in this movie? Like, put a girl that's Carnage and Venom's weaknesses that's not even against either of them. I mean, she's against Venom, but she's teamed up with Carnage. But I'm just like, why do you have like a girl like that? I mean, if you wanted to have a love relationship, you could have at least put like another comic book character or something. So yeah, just Frances. Like, yeah, I didn't really like her that much, honestly. Okay, and then we get on to Dan. Dan comes back in this movie. I mean, in the first one, he was okay. I mean, he wasn't really all that. In this one, he's kind of the same, but I mean, he's a little more upgraded, like, because he does a lot more in this movie than in the first one. So I would say I would say he was good, but like he wasn't a great character like Anne and Venom and Cletus. He wasn't a great character, but he was a good character. Yeah, and I really liked at the end of the movie where he was trying really hard to help out Eddie. Like he was actually like really willing to help out both Eddie and Venom. So yeah, and I thought that was really cool about Dan. So yeah, he was really upgraded in this movie. And then we get on to okay, one last character is Mrs. Chen. I think that was her name, the Chinese girl in the little market that Eddie likes to goes to for food. Yeah, she was funny in this movie. Like she had a lot of funny scenes. She was in the first one too, and she kind of had the same she kind of had the same feel. Like she felt the same as in the first one, but she was still okay. Okay, so let's get on to so the effects in this movie. I thought the effects were cool. Like yeah, the effects were really cool. Like the way Carnage looked like was really cool actually. Like I really dug the way he looked actually. Like he looked awesome. Like even though Carnage wasn't all that, he still looked really cool. I would say they did an excellent job with making him. He looked phenomenal. He looked phenomenal. Is there anything else I say about Carnage? Let me think. Oh yeah, and then there's also okay. I'm not gonna spoil a lot of action scenes, but I'm just gonna say like there's some action scenes with him too that are really cool, and then where you really like root for him a lot. And then at the end battle was really cool. I'm not gonna say what goes on, but the end battle was pretty cool. Let me think. And this movie was 97 minutes, I think, like an hour 37 minutes, but it didn't feel like that. I mean, I would say this is the shortest Marvel movie, actually, because this is the first one to be around an hour 30 minutes. But it didn't really feel that short, actually. Like, it actually felt like the same, like, runtime as the first one, at least 2 hours. Let me think. Okay, so, to rate this movie, I'll rate this movie a B+. Yeah. Bye, and see you all in the next review.